Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to explore some AI stuff?
Always ready to dig into some AI.
Today it's all about AI security.
Yeah.
Or, well, maybe AI insecurity is a better way to put it.
Yeah, maybe.
Turns out even the most advanced AI systems can have some pretty big security holes, right?
Yeah, definitely. And what's kind of crazy is a bunch of vulnerabilities were just recently found in open source AI and machine learning
Oh,
models.
well, we're talking about like the
That you,
kind of vulnerabilities that could let someone, you know, get into your private data
hmm
or maybe even like take over a whole system.
Yeah,
So these are like popular AI tools, the kind that developers use day to day.
yeah,
And all this research comes from Protect AI,
yeah,
their hunter bug bounty platform. Is that right?
that's right.
They pay security experts to find these vulnerabilities
Yeah.
before the bad guys do.
Exactly.
Kind of
What?
good.
It's like a neighborhood watch for AI,
Okay. Yeah.
but in the digital world.
Digital Neighborhood Watch. I like
Yeah.
that.
It's turning up some pretty unsettling stuff.
Really.
Yeah. And to kind of gauge how bad these vulnerabilities are, we use something called the CVSS score. It's basically like a threat level meter. The higher the score, the more damage a hacker could cause.
So like the higher the CVSS score, the more we should be freaking out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so give me some examples. What kind of AI tools are we talking about here? And what could actually go wrong?
Okay, well, one example is Lunary. It's a toolkit that's used for large language models, those AI systems that power things like chatbots and stuff.
Okay.
Lunary had a couple of critical vulnerabilities that could have led to some really serious data leaks.
Data leaks. So that means like someone could get my personal info.
Potentially, yeah. Imagine someone using these vulnerabilities to access things like your private messages,
Yeah.
financial details, your whole chat history, basically giving a stranger the keys to your whole digital life.
Not good.
Yeah.
So what kind of flaws made this possible?
One was an insecure direct object reference, which basically means a hacker could trick the system into handing over data that it shouldn't.
Got it.
And another flaw was improper access control, which could have let an attacker log in as someone else and take over their account.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about stealing information. It's about like impersonating people
Yeah.
and taking control of their AI tools.
Yeah, exactly.
That's some scary stuff.
Yeah, and that's not all. Lunary also had a vulnerability that could let someone manipulate user prompts and basically trick the AI into doing things it shouldn't.
Hold on. Manipulating prompts, you mean like those instructions you give to a chatbot or something?
Precisely. Imagine someone tweaking your instructions to make the AI do harmful actions without you even realizing it.
So it's like my AI assistant turned against me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's officially giving me chill.
It's getting kind of creepy, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Are all AI tools this vulnerable?
Well, let's look at another example. Chuan Hu ChatGPT. This one had a flaw called a path traversal vulnerability. And this one could have been even worse because it's not just about data leaks. It's about getting complete control of the system.
Path traversal. That sounds pretty intense. What could someone actually deal with that?
Think of it like this. A path traversal attack. It basically exploits loopholes in how a system handles file paths.
Okay.
A skilled attacker could use this flaw to sneak into restricted areas of the system,
Oh.
potentially gaining access to sensitive files, or even executing their own code.
So it's like they found a secret back door into the AI's operating system.
Exactly.
And with Chuan and ChatGPT, that could have meant taking over the whole platform.
Exactly. And we've seen similar flaws lead to some massive data breaches in the past.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is definitely something to take seriously.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Data leaks, system takeovers, malicious manipulation. It's like the greatest hits of digital nightmares.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary landscape out there.
Look.
And unfortunately, the list goes on. Another platform called Local AI, which lets people run their own AI models, had a couple of vulnerabilities that could have been exploited to execute malicious code or even steal API keys.
Wait, API keys. Those are like
Right.
super secret passwords that grant access to all sorts of stuff, right?
Exactly.
So someone could potentially use those stolen keys to impersonate you or just wreak havoc on your AI systems.
Precisely.
Yeah, man.
And this vulnerability in local AI made it easier for attackers to steal those keys through what are called timing attacks.
Timing attacks. That sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It's actually pretty clever. Attackers analyze how long the system takes to respond to certain requests and then use that information to figure out the valid API keys.
Wow.
It's kind of like cracking a safe, by listening for the tumblers to fall into place.
So even like the seemingly harmless delays in how a system responds could be exploited by hackers.
Yep, that's right.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Are there any other AI vulnerabilities we should be worried about?
Well, before we move on to the broader implications of all this, there's one more vulnerability worth mentioning. It involves the Deep Java library, which is a popular tool for building AI applications.
Okay, hit me with it. What's lurking in the depths of the Deep Java library?
Researchers found a flaw that could allow attackers to overwrite important files on the system.
Okay.
And the worst part is, this flaw could be used to achieve remote code execution,
Oh.
meaning a hacker could potentially run any code they want on the targeted machine.
So another way for hackers to potentially take over an entire system?
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's starting to feel like no matter where we look in the AI world, there are these hidden dangers just beneath the surface.
Yeah, that's the scary truth.
Oh,
These
yeah.
vulnerabilities highlight just how crucial it is to prioritize security when we're building and using AI systems. We're not talking about some hypothetical future threat here.
Right.
These are real-world risks that could have a major impact on individuals, businesses, even national security.
Okay, so we've established that AI can be a bit of a security nightmare. But before I spiral into a full-blown digital panic attack, can we talk about what we can actually do to protect ourselves? Is there any hope in this, like, digital dystopia?
Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There are definitely things we can do to fight back against these threats and build more secure AI systems. But before we get into the solutions, I think it's important to understand the wider implications of these vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Because we're not just talking about stolen data or hacked accounts. We're talking about risks that could ripple through every aspect of our lives.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture. What are the potential consequences of these AI vulnerabilities on a larger scale?
Welcome back.
All right, so before the break, we were talking about how AI vulnerabilities aren't just a tech problem. They have some pretty serious real-world consequences, right?
Exactly.
Like, what happens if these flaws are exploited on a larger scale? What's the worst-case scenario?
Well, for starters, there's privacy violations. We talked about how these vulnerabilities could expose sensitive personal data, but imagine that happening on a massive scale.
So not just individual accounts getting hacked, but entire databases of personal information being compromised.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole other level of scary.
We're talking about things like medical records, financial data, personal conversations. Everything you do online could potentially be up for grabs.
That's like the ultimate invasion of privacy. And it's not just for individuals, right? Businesses and governments, I mean. They must be prime targets for these kind of attacks.
Absolutely. And that's where industrial espionage comes into play. Imagine hackers using these vulnerabilities to steal trade secrets, confidential research data, or even sensitive government information.
Wow.
It could cripple businesses, give foreign powers a significant advantage, even destabilize entire economies.
So it's not just about protecting our personal data. It's about safeguarding innovation, economic stability, even national security. And these vulnerabilities could also be used to launch more targeted cyber attacks, right?
Exactly. Imagine a hacker using a compromised AI system to spread misinformation, disrupt critical infrastructure, or even launch ransomware attacks that cripple essential services.
Okay, I think we've painted a pretty bleak picture here.
Yeah.
But before I start prepping my digital bunker, let's talk about solutions. What can we actually do to protect ourselves and build more secure AI systems?
Well, the good news is we're not defenseless. There are a number of things we can do, both technically and strategically, to mitigate these risks. But before we get into the specifics, I think it's important to remember that AI is a double-edged sword.
Okay.
It's not just a source of vulnerability. It can also be a powerful tool for defense.
Wait, so AI can actually fight back against these threats?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not science fiction. It's already happening. We're seeing AI being used to detect malware. That's before they occur.
It's like training a digital watchdog to sniff out those malicious digital intruders.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a glimmer of hope here. Tell me more about how AI can be used for security.
One promising area is threat intelligence. AI can analyze massive data sets of known threats and vulnerabilities, identifying patterns and predicting future attacks.
So we can use AI to stay one step ahead of the hackers.
Exactly.
But what about those zero-day vulnerabilities, the ones that haven't been discovered yet? Can AI help us with those too?
Absolutely. AI-powered vulnerability scanners, like the Vuln Hunter tool we talked about earlier, can analyze code and identify potential security flaws before they're exploited.
So it's like having a digital detective on our side, constantly searching for clues and trying to predict the next move of the cybercriminals.
Exactly.
That's pretty reassuring. And as AI continues to evolve, we can expect these security tools to become even more sophisticated and effective. But remember, AI is not a silver bullet. It's a powerful tool that can augment human capabilities, but it can't replace human expertise entirely.
So it's a partnership, a collaboration between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Precisely.
Like a team of detectives working alongside their AI counterparts to solve the case.
Exactly.
I like that analogy. So it sounds like we need a multi-pronged approach. Proactive security measures, AI-powered tools, and skilled professionals working together to protect our digital world. But let's not forget about the ethical side of things. We can't just focus on building secure AI. We also need to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically right.
You're absolutely right. AI security is not just a technical issue, it's a societal issue, with profound implications for our privacy, our economy, and even our democracy. And as AI becomes more pervasive, we need to address a number of critical challenges, and one of the most pressing is bias.
Bias? You mean like those biases that already exist in the real world? How do those creep into AI?
Well, AI systems are trained on massive amounts of data, and that data reflects the biases of the real world. So if the data is biased, the AI will be biased too, and that can lead to unfair or even harmful outcomes.
So garbage in, garbage out. If we feed AI biased data, we'll end up with biased AI. Give me some examples of how that could play out in real life.
We've already seen examples of AI systems exhibiting racial bias in facial recognition, gender bias in hiring algorithms, even socioeconomic bias in loan applications.
Okay, that's seriously messed up. If AI is going to be making decisions that affect people's lives, we absolutely need to ensure that it's fair and unbiased. What can we do to address this?
That's where regulation and oversight come into play. We need clear guidelines and standards for the development and deployment of AI systems, ensuring that they're fair, transparent, and accountable.
So it's not just about building secure AI. It's about building ethical AI, AI that aligns with our values and serves the common good. We need to make sure AI is a force for positive change, not a tool for perpetuating existing inequalities.
Exactly. AI has the potential to revolutionize our world in countless positive ways, but we need to be mindful of its potential pitfalls and ensure that it's used responsibly. That means being aware of the risks, developing robust security measures, and fostering a culture of ethical AI development.
It's a tall order, but it sounds like we're making progress. Are there any other approaches or solutions that you think are particularly promising?
Well, one area that's gaining a lot of attention is something called adversarial machine learning.
Okay.
It's a technique for training AI systems to be more robust against attacks by deliberately exposing them to adversarial examples, inputs that are designed to trick or deceive the model.
So it's like giving the AI a crash course in self-defense.
Yeah.
Teaching it to recognize and resist those sneaky attacks that try to exploit its weaknesses.
Exactly. By training AI against these adversarial examples, we can make it more resilient to real-world attacks, reduce its susceptibility to manipulation, and make it harder for hackers to gain a foothold.
That's a really clever approach. But even if we can train AI to be more secure, how do we know that it's actually making fair and ethical decisions? How can we be sure that the AI isn't perpetuating those biases we were talking about earlier?
That's a great question, and it brings us to another important area of AI research. Explainable AI, or XAI.
Explainable AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
The goal of XAI is to make AI systems more transparent and understandable, so we can see how they arrive at their decisions.
So it's like shining a light into the AI's black box,
Precisely.
making its thought processes visible and accountable.
With XAI, we can gain insights into how the AI is making decisions, identify potential biases, and ensure that it's operating ethically and fairly.
That sounds crucial, especially as AI starts making more and more decisions that have real-world consequences for people's lives. If we're going to trust AI to make those decisions, we need to understand how it's thinking.
Exactly. We need to move beyond the "trust me, it works" approach and demand transparency and accountability from AI systems.
This all makes a lot of sense. But it also sounds like a lot of responsibility falls on the shoulders of the people developing and deploying AI systems. What about the role of governments and regulatory bodies? Do we need new laws and regulations to govern the use of AI?
It's a complex issue, and there's a lot of debate about the best way to regulate AI. Some people argue that too much regulation will stifle innovation, while others believe that clear guidelines are essential to protect the public interest.
So it's about finding that balance between encouraging progress and preventing harm.
Exactly. We need to find a way to foster innovation, while also ensuring that AI is used ethically and responsibly. That might involve things like establishing clear standards for data privacy, requiring AI developers to conduct bias assessments, or even creating new regulatory bodies to oversee the development and deployment of AI systems.
It sounds like there's no easy answer, but it's a conversation we need to be having. The stakes are too high to ignore the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Absolutely. AI has the potential to reshape our world in profound ways, and it's up to us to ensure that it's used for good, not for harm.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical intricacies of AI vulnerabilities to the broader societal implications of AI security. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this deep dive?
There's definitely a lot to think about.
It sounds like we're at a crossroads with AI.
Yeah.
We have this incredible technology with so much potential, but we also have to be incredibly careful about how we develop and use it.
That's a great way to put it. It's like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier, and we need to chart our course wisely to make sure that AI benefits all of humanity.
So how do we do that? What steps can we take to create a future where AI is a force for good, not something we come to regret?
Well, one thing we've already touched on is collaboration. We need experts from different fields, computer science, ethics, law, social sciences, all working together to address the complex challenges of AI security and ethics.
It's like assembling a dream team of brilliant minds to tackle one of the biggest challenges of our time. What else can we do to ensure AI is used responsibly?
Education is crucial. We need to educate the public about the potential benefits and risks of AI, empower them to make informed decisions about the technologies they use, and foster a critical dialogue about the ethical implications of AI.
So no more blindly trusting the algorithms. We need to understand how AI works and what it means for our lives.
Exactly.
It's like learning a new language so we can communicate effectively with these intelligent systems.
I like that.
But education takes time, and AI is evolving at an incredible pace. What can we do in the short term to address these security and ethical concerns?
One promising approach is to encourage more diversity in the field of AI development. Right now, the AI industry is dominated by a fairly homogeneous group of people, and that lack of diversity can lead to blind spots and biases.
So we need more women, people of color, people from different backgrounds and perspectives involved in building and shaping AI.
Absolutely. A more diverse AI workforce will lead to more robust and ethical AI systems that reflect the values and needs of a wider range of people.
Makes sense. And what about the role of governments and regulatory bodies? Can they play a part in steering AI in the right direction?
Definitely. Governments can incentivize responsible AI development through funding, grants, and tax breaks. They can also establish clear ethical guidelines and regulations that promote fairness, transparency, and accountability.
So it's not about stifling innovation, but about setting boundaries and ensuring that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits society as a whole.
Exactly. It's like setting speed limits on a highway. We don't want to prevent people from driving, but we do want to ensure everyone's safety.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of safety, we've talked a lot about the potential risks of AI, but let's not forget about the incredible opportunities it presents. AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, education, transportation, countless other fields.
You're absolutely right. AI can help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems,
No.
from climate change to poverty to disease.
So it's a balancing act, isn't it? We need to proceed with caution and address the risks, but we also need to embrace the potential of AI to make the world a better place.
Exactly. It's like exploring a new continent. There will be challenges and dangers along the way, but the rewards of discovery can be immense.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the dark side of AI, delved into the complexities of security and ethics, and even glimpsed the potential of AI to transform our world for the better.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? And we've only just scratched the surface. The field of AI is constantly evolving, and it's crucial that we stay informed, engaged, and involved in shaping its trajectory.
So to our listeners out there, don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and demand transparency from the companies and organizations developing AI technologies.
Remember, the future of AI is not predetermined. It's up to all of us to ensure that AI is used for good, not for harm.
And on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of the fascinating and sometimes unsettling world of AI security.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Thanks for listening.